of NASA's Kennedy Space Center, which is a restricted area. You cannot access this area with your own personal vehicle. It also includes an up-close view of launch pads 39A and B. The tour will take approximately 40 minutes. After that, I will be dropping you off at the Apollo Saturn V Center, which is all about landing on the moon. There you can see one of the 3 Saturn V rockets that are left in existence. Also over at the Saturn V Center, there are many exhibits. There's a food court and you can touch a moon rock. Cameras are welcome, but there is one place where you cannot take pictures, and that is of the guard or the guard shack while entering or exiting Kennedy Space Center. They will confiscate any electronic devices that they see pictures being taken with. We also ask for the respect of others to please mute or vibrate your cell phones. Cell phones can be used at the tour stop. Also, if you need to translate or if you need to have a conversation, we ask that you please use your soft voice as not to disturb the guests that are sitting around you. Also, remain seated while the bus is in motion. Coming up on your right, you're going to see this little rocket. This little rocket is a Mercury Redstone rocket. This is the same type of rocket that took the first American astronaut into space, and that was Alan Shepard, and that was in May of 1961. The rocket is real. The capsule on top is a model. As we go by this rocket, look on the ground directly underneath that rocket. You'll see that red triangle. That was the flame deflector. Not much of a flame deflector compared to what they use today. Along the way, there will be videos on the history, the present, and the future here at NASA. Now, we are coming up on security. This is the guard shack. There is a possibility that you can see some alligators or turtles. You will see lots of birds, lots of beautiful birds. We have over 300 different species of birds here. Some of those species are on the federal list as threatened or endangered. Now up ahead in front of us, this is our industrial area. This area is behind the scenes. It does not get as much recognition as the launch pads do, but it is just as important. In this area, we have our Kennedy Space Center headquarters. Also in this area, Lockheed Martin is building NASA a new Orion capsule. The Orion capsule is for NASA's next program, which is the Space Launch Systems. You will learn more about that program throughout the tour. As we turn left up ahead in front of us, you're going to see our iconic vehicle assembly building. Does anybody want to take a guess about how far away from us that is? 5 miles, 2 miles? That's a very good guess. It is exactly 5 miles. Nobody's good at their distance. Okay, now the International Space Station travels at 17,500 miles an hour. If we were on the International Space Station, it would take us 1 second. To keep the deck level as it goes up that grade. If you put a tennis ball on the crawler.
By volume, the Vehicle Assembly Building, or VAB. It was built for the Apollo program in the 1960s and stands 525 feet or 160 meters high. The American flag you see on the front is 21 stories tall. The VAB is where everything comes together before a launch. The Apollo and Space Shuttle vehicles were assembled for flight in the VAB. This cavernous facility contains 4 huge bays where the spacecraft were assembled using massive overhead bridge cranes for highly complex maneuvers. Today, the VAB is being updated to assemble our next human-rated launch vehicle, the Space Launch System, or SLS. The SLS is the most powerful rocket in history and has an evolvable design that ranges from 321 to 384 feet tall. depending on mission requirements. This rocket will someday help NASA to reach its goal of human exploration of Mars. The large tower next to the VAB is the mobile launcher being built for SLS. When completed, it will carry the massive launch vehicle on top of the crawler transporter to pad 39V. You will learn more about the launch of SLS when we get to the launch pad. Adjacent.
Okay, I'm going to pause this video for a minute. Up ahead in front of us, there are two mobile launch platforms. This smaller mobile launch platform is from the shuttle program. This is what the shuttles would sit on when they were launched. This mobile launch platform weighs 9 million pounds. Now, if you look up underneath, you'll see 3 openings. 2 of those openings were for the solid rocket boosters exhaust. The bigger opening was for the 3 main engines exhaust. If you notice, this mobile launch platform is sitting on 6 numbered pedestals. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Up ahead in front of us is the other mobile launch platform. This platform is being built for NASA's new space launch systems, and it will support the assembly, testing, servicing, and launch of NASA's next spacecraft. This mobile launch platform weighs over 10 million pounds. Same thing underneath, you're going to see a big opening. Okay, look up underneath, you'll see a big opening. That's for the solid rocket boosters exhaust and the 4 main engines exhaust. Now this mobile launch platform is also sitting on 6 numbered pedestals. Well, these 2 mobile launch platforms, this is just the staging area. We have crawler transporters that come up underneath these mobile launch platforms. The crawler will lift up the mobile launch platform off of those 6 numbered pedestals. The crawler will take the mobile launch platform into the vehicle assembly building. They will attach the vehicle. Then the crawler will take them both out to the launch pad. Now you're going to see how that works just a little later on in the tour. Coming up on your right, you're going to see that small white building with the slanted windows, just like you see on the monitors. That is Launch Control Center. The video is going to continue with Launch Control Center.
To the VAB is the Launch Control Center, the distinctively shaped 4-story building which houses the launch team. This is where the ground controllers, engineers, and launch director monitor the spacecraft and manage all the activities leading up to launch.
Launch Control Center is the electronic brains to every one of NASA's launches. Kennedy Space Center has control of their vehicle. Up until it clears the tower of the launch pad, is it then Johnson Space Center in Houston takes over. Johnson Space Center is mission control. Kennedy Space Center is launch control. If you look, you're going to see high bays 1 and 3 on the vehicle assembly building. High bay 1 is open. High bay 3 is being modified for NASA's new space launch system. On your right, this is the crawler way. This is what the crawlers follow out to the launch pad. And we're going to turn right and we're going to cross over this crawler way. As we cross over, look to your left. Our crawlers straddle this grassy area in the middle. This is the size of an 8-lane highway. Now we're going to follow this crawler way all the way out to launch pad 39A, which is 3.5 miles from the vehicle assembly building. It was upgraded for NASA's new space launch systems. Now, at the beginning of the tour, I showed you that Mercury redstone rocket with that little flame deflector. Well, right here on your left, these are the size of the flame deflectors that they use now. They're just a little bit bigger. You can see how they started to melt. That is what 7 million pounds of thrust will do. Temperatures can reach up to 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. We have 2 crawlers. Our crawlers were the largest track vehicles ever built. Our crawlers only travel in one direction, and that is forward. If you see the cab on the left, there's another cab just like that, diagonally on the other side. The engineer will sit in the front cab to go forward up to the launch pad. When it's time to come back from the launch pad, he gets in the other cab and goes forward again. It would be very hard to turn this vehicle around. Our crawlers have 8 tracks. Each one of those tracks has 57 cleats. Each one of those cleats weighs 1 ton. Our crawlers weigh 6 million pounds, and they have a fuel consumption of 32 feet per gallon. Now we're going to come back this way so those folks on the right side of the bus can get better pictures. Now when the crawler is loaded just like that with the mobile launch platform, it travels at 1 mile an hour. After it drops the mobile launch platform off the launch pad, it can hightail it back at 2 miles an hour. Now, Launchpad 39A is up ahead in front of us. This next video I have is going to give you the future of Launchpad 39A, and it's also going to give you some information about the commercial partners that NASA has out here working on their commercial crew program.
Ja, das ist bei Staatsgrenze dann wahrscheinlich nicht aufhalten.
Since the end of the Space Shuttle program in 2000, with private industry stepping up to support low Earth orbit missions for the ISS, NASA can focus more heavily on deep space exploration, which you will learn about at Launchpad 39B.
Okay, Pad A was leased to SpaceX. SpaceX was started by Elon Musk, who is the founder of PayPal and Tesla Motors. Now what SpaceX stood up here on the left, they built this white building. This is a horizontal integration facility. This facility will allow SpaceX to assemble their rockets horizontally, whereas NASA does theirs vertically. SpaceX also put a rail system in up to the launch pad. So when they are finished assembling their rockets, they will take the rocket to the launch pad by that rail system, still in its horizontal position. When they get the rocket to the launch pad, they will then stand it up with a strong bag. Now, SpaceX is currently left of a rotating service structure. NASA would bring their shuttle out to the launch pad about 30 days before it was due to launch, so that rotating service structure would rotate around, cover, and protect the shuttle while it was sitting on the launch pad. SpaceX. Structure was removed. This clean pad design makes way for many different types of rockets. This launch pad is now NASA's Universal Launch Complex. Okay, now on your right, notice how that fence is curved up.
Nee, ich habe ihn irgendwie nicht. Funktioniert bei mir gerade nicht.